Now, Irish teacher Enoch Burke has been jailed for the third time after he was arrested outside the school he says sacked him for refusing to call a boy a girl. He has already spent more than 400 days in Mountjoy prison for repeatedly defying a High Court injunction banning him from Wilson's Hospital School in County Westmeath. He was sacked in January 2023 for refusing to call a transitioning pupil by their preferred pronoun, which is they, saying it was against his religious beliefs. In court on Monday, he claimed Irish teachers were being commanded to force transgenderism on students, calling it a hellish ideology that leaves children scarred for life. Enoch Burke is appealing his dismissal from the school. Joining me now is GB News host and founder of Reasoned UK, Darren Grimes. Darren, tell me about this dismissal. Surely he's not facing this ordeal, time behind bars, because he refused to abide by they, them pronouns?
Yeah, it's a glaring example of the way in which the political parties throughout the Republic of Ireland have become completely homogenous, captured by ideology, whether it be on rampant mass migration or on this issue of refusing to call a spade and actually adopting trans ideology as your creed. Because it's an example, glaring as it possibly can be, of actually, can you ever imagine 10 years ago, Rita, if you and I were to have been sat having a conversation about someone being jailed for simply refusing to call a boy a girl? It isn't about pronouns, right? It's about a fundamental assault on the right to speak truth as you see it. I wouldn't even say that this is an issue of religious conscience as such. I would say that actually it's about the madness of gender ideology actually reaching a point where a teacher can be thrown in jail for actually sticking to biological reality. So it actually highlights the power of the absurdity of the woke crusade, where the most basic facts of life are now considered quote unquote offensive. And it isn't even, I wouldn't even say it's about Enoch himself. I would say actually it's about this creeping authoritarianism actually spreading through institutions, important institutions like schools. We've seen it in hospitals, in parts of the country where, breastfeeding becomes chest feeding, and all of these absolutely absurd ideas and narratives. And places of learning, Rita, should not become battlegrounds of gender ideology. That's the fundamental point here.
But that entire ideology started in academia, so we shouldn't be surprised that it's strong there. Now, let's talk about this story. This is getting attention around the world. A man has been detained in France after yet another church fire. The steeple of the 19th century Church of the Immaculate Conception collapsed in the blaze. Police say the man has been known to authorities for similar acts in the past. 2 years ago, the president of the Observatory of Religious Heritage claimed that a church building disappears every 2 weeks in France, either due to demolition, transformation, fire, or collapse. That beautiful church, Darren, survived 2 world wars, but it's destroyed now, along with many others, it seems.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking, actually, the sheer beauty that's been lost over, what seems to be over recent years. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Rita, that there can't be a sudden coincidence in the fact that churches are burning down when actually we've invited a lot of people to Europe's shores, which perhaps aren't all too fond with Europe's churches. I mean, I wonder why that could be, Rita. It doesn't take a sort of you don't have to be the biggest mind on the planet to figure that one out. So I think it's actually heartbreaking what Europe has done to it. And you put it really well there when you said it survived 2 world wars. It survived 2 world wars, yep, but it didn't survive contact with Europe's penchant for saying, let's be absolutely perfect citizens of the world and invite absolutely everybody to come here and all the rest of it. And I'm afraid it's not been great for Europe's culture, has it? All of this diversity and all the rest of it. So, no, I find it absolutely tragic.
I was going to ask you just on that, because you've been outspoken about Islamic extremism on television, and that's caused you to have a run-in with a man who threatened you. Let's have a look.
Can I just, okay. I'm just saying, we're both freelance. There you go.
This way?
Just tell me what happened there. Is there anything to worry about?
Yeah, so you heard him at the end there talking about Islami shouts. And he walked up to me, Rita, on the streets of London, and he said, if I talk about Islam again, that the streets of London would be unsafe for me. Now, that to me is a direct threat. Now, the police are yet to do anything about it. But of course, we've seen on the streets of our country over recent weeks the fact that someone was banged up for flying an English flag outside of a mosque. We saw someone banged up for shouting obscenities about Allah, and we've seen someone banged up for Facebook posts and all the rest of it. So it strikes me that there is a clear example here of two-tiered justice in which someone can be threatened for their doing their job and for their speech and nothing be done about it. But if it's on the other, imagine, Rita, if I had said to this individual that if he speaks about Christianity, I will make the streets of London unsafe for him. Can you honestly tell me that I wouldn't be criminalised for that speech? Of course I would, because it's actually threatening behaviour. But when it happens the other way around,
absolutely.
absolute
Darren, we've run out of time. But we will speak to you again, and hopefully by then the authorities have actually done something about this and at least interviewed that man. Darren Grimes, thank you for your time this evening.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.